Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a world, I have to admit, I don't know much about.
Oh, cool.
It's urban birding.
Awesome.
Yes, you guys sent in some really fascinating material.
Okay.
And we're going to be focusing on rare birds found in cities.
Wow. In the city. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you wouldn't think,
Yeah.
right? You think you have to go to like
A jungle or something.
a jungle or the rainforest or something like that to
Yeah.
find these rare birds.
Right.
But it turns out that's not the case at all.
Huh.
We're working with an excerpt from a blog post.
Okay.
It's titled, Uncommon City Birds, Rare Finds for the Urban Birder.
Kitschy.
Yeah. So get this. We've got peregrine falcons,
Wow.
which are the fastest birds on the planet.
Really?
Yeah, and they're nesting on skyscrapers.
That's incredible.
Then we've got these bright, colorful parrots from South America.
Parrots in the city.
Yeah, making cities their playgrounds.
Wow.
And even owls.
No way.
Yeah, hanging out in city parks.
That's amazing.
This blog post really dives into why these birds are choosing cities.
So why are they?
And it even gives us some tips on how to spot them.
I'm ready to learn everything.
I am too.
This is going to be great.
All right, so first up,
Okay.
what makes urban birding so unique?
Yeah. What is it about the city that draws these birds in?
Well, cities offer some pretty surprising advantages for birds.
Like what?
Warmer microclimates,
Okay, yeah. Cities tend to be warmer.
tons of food sources,
True, especially if you love pigeons.
and even shelter from harsh weather.
It's like a little oasis in the middle of the concrete jungle.
Exactly.
So cities are like these islands of warmth, which would be especially appealing during the winter.
Yeah, especially during the colder months.
And you know what else is interesting?
What's that?
The vertical landscape of the city.
Okay.
Skyscrapers and tall buildings,
Yeah.
they provide all these ledges for nesting.
Ah, like natural cliffs.
Exactly. It's like we unintentionally recreated some of their natural habitats.
That's pretty cool.
It-
And then there's the food abundance.
Yeah, pigeons everywhere.
Seriously, pigeons are definitely not in short supply in most cities.
It's a feast for certain birds of prey.
Yeah, like those peregrine falcons.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which,
Okay, let's talk about them.
the speed demons.
Right. This blog says they can hit speeds over 200 miles an hour.
Seriously, that's insane.
I know, I could barely hit 20 on the freeway at rush hour.
That's what makes them so fascinating.
It's incredible.
They've taken their natural instincts for cliff nesting and applied it to skyscrapers. And all
Mhm.
those pigeons, it's like their own personal fast food drive-through.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
So the article mentions that some cities have even set up nesting boxes on buildings to encourage these peregrine falcons.
Really?
Yeah, like New York and Chicago.
That's a great example of how we can design spaces that benefit both people and wildlife.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, if you want to actually try and see one of these birds,
Okay.
the blog recommends looking out at dawn and dusk,
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. when they're most active.
So early bird gets the falcon.
Something like that.
And what should we be looking for specifically?
Those pointed wings
Ah.
and their powerful dives.
So we'll keep an eye out for that.
You'll know it when you see it.
Okay, good to know.
But peregrine falcons aren't the only birds of prey who have adapted to city life.
Right. The blog also mentions red-tailed hawks.
Ah, yes, one of the most common hawks in North America.
That's right.
And they've adapted really well to city living.
Yeah, how so?
Well, unlike the peregrine falcon, which hunts on the wing,
Okay.
the red-tailed hawk is a bit more laid back.
Oh, okay.
They like to hunt from a perch.
Oh, so they just kind of chill and wait for their prey.
Exactly.
Ah.
They'll often be seen perched on tall buildings or trees, just scanning for food.
Like a watchful guardian of the city.
I like that.
And they're playing a crucial role too, right?
Absolutely, keeping those city rat populations in check.
Natural pest control at its finest.
You got
So if we're looking for red-tailed hawks, what should we look for?
Look for that distinctive reddish tail, especially when they're in flight.
Okay, so that's how we tell them apart from the peregrine falcons.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got these high-speed dives
Right.
and graceful glides.
Yeah,
The world of urban birds of prey is pretty awesome.
it really is.
But now let's move on to a totally different kind of bird that's made the city its home.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The monk parakeet.
Wait, parrots in the city?
I know, right? I was surprised too.
That's wild.
These bright green parrots
Okay.
are actually native to South America,
Huh.
but they've established themselves in cities all around the world.
That's a pretty impressive feat.
It really is. Talk about adaptability.
It must be doing something right.
Their vibrant green plumage definitely makes them stand out against the concrete.
Oh, yeah, they'd be hard to miss.
And get this, their nesting habits are fascinating.
What do they do?
They build these huge communal nests,
Yow.
often in trees, but sometimes even on things like utility poles.
Serious?
Yeah, it's like a parrot apartment complex right in the middle of the city.
That's incredible.
And they're really social birds, too.
I can imagine.
You'll often see them in flocks, chattering away.
Have you ever seen one in person?
Not yet, but I'm definitely going to be looking out for them now.
Me too.
So we've talked about birds of prey and these vibrant parrots.
Right.
But this blog post throws in a real curveball now.
Okay, hit me with it.
Black-crowned night herons.
Night herons in the city.
Yep, apparently so.
That's unexpected.
I know, right?
Where do they hang out?
They're often found near water.
Okay.
So if you live in a city with a river or a lake,
Or even a big fountain.
yeah, you might just get lucky and see one.
I have to keep an eye out.
These birds are true masters of camouflage.
Really?
Yeah, they've got a black cap, short legs,
Okay.
and a stout body.
They sound pretty cool.
They're mostly active at dusk and dawn.
Ah, hence the name night heron. What about their feeding habits?
They'll slowly stalk their prey along the water's edge,
Okay.
and then bam, they strike super fast.
Like a ninja.
Yeah, it's a pretty dramatic contrast to their otherwise slow movements.
That's amazing.
And get this, they've been spotted in places like Central Park in New York City.
Wow, talk about blending in.
If you're hoping to see one of these stealthy birds,
Okay.
the article suggests using binoculars in low light.
Good tip. They sound like they can be hard to spot.
Yeah, but I bet seeing one is worth the effort.
Definitely.
Okay, so if you thought night herons were surprising,
Okay.
get ready for this.
I'm ready.
The blog also talks about great horned owls making their homes in cities.
Wait, owls in the city.
I know, right? Seems crazy.
I always associate owls with, like, dense forests.
Yeah, me too, like remote areas.
Exactly.
You'd think the bright lights and constant noise of a city would scare them off.
You would think so.
But these owls are incredibly adaptable.
Wow.
They figured out how to use the city to their advantage.
That's amazing.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
What's that?
Adaptability is key for these urban birds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And great horned owls, well, they've got it in spades.
They're pros.
Yeah. So the article talks about how they've got those iconic feathered tufts.
The ones that look like ears.
Exactly, but they're not actually ears.
Huh, interesting.
One, of course, their deep haunting call.
Oh, yeah, that classic owl sound.
Which, by the way, can totally send chills down your spine.
Oh, yeah, I've heard it before. It's pretty spooky.
It's a sound that can really make you stop and listen.
It definitely can.
And while you're more likely to hear it in rural areas,
Right?
it's not unheard of to hear it in a city park, especially during breeding season.
Wow, I'll have to listen out for that.
Yeah, if you're ever walking through a park at night and hear that hoot,
Okay.
just remember, you're sharing space with one of nature's most majestic predators.
That's pretty cool.
It really is.
It's like a reminder that nature is all around us.
Yeah, even in the most unexpected places.
Okay, so we've learned why these birds are in cities,
Yeah.
but how do we actually find them?
Good question. Because knowing they're out there is one thing,
Right.
but actually spotting them.
That's a whole other challenge.
Exactly. And this blog has some great advice.
I'm all ears.
Okay, first up,
Hit me.
early morning birding.
Makes sense.
Most birds are most active at dawn.
Yeah, when they're looking for food.
Exactly.
So we got to get up early.
Yeah, set that alarm clock, grab your coffee, and get ready to see your city in a whole new way.
I'm in. And don't
Yeah.
forget those binoculars.
Yeah, binoculars.
Essential for urban birding.
Right, because even in the city,
Yeah,
birds can be tough to spot if you're not prepared.
for sure.
Okay, so another tip from the blog post.
Okay.
Pay attention to migratory seasons.
Oh, right, migration.
Yeah,
That brings in a ton of different bird species.
that you wouldn't normally see
Yeah, it's like a temporary wave of visitors.
from all over.
Yeah, all over the continent.
So it's a great time to expand your urban birding list.
Definitely.
The blog suggests
Yeah.
doing a little research
Okay.
on the migration patterns in your area
Okay.
and then plan your outings accordingly.
So you can catch them when they're passing through.
Exactly.
Okay, so here's a tip that might surprise you.
Okay.
Visit parks with water sources.
You mean like ponds and rivers?
Yeah, ponds, rivers, even fountains.
Okay.
Water attracts all sorts of wildlife,
Makes sense.
and that includes birds.
Right. Provides drinking water.
Yeah, and it also attracts all those insects and little creatures that birds feed on.
Oh, yeah. So it's like a magnet for biodiversity.
Exactly, right in the heart of the city.
Right in the middle of the city.
Yeah, and if you're lucky,
Yeah.
you might even spot some of those more elusive water birds.
Oh, like the black-crowned night herons we were talking about?
Exactly.
So that's a good tip.
Yeah,
Add those parks with water features to the list.
for sure.
Okay, and finally, the blog emphasizes the importance of patience.
Oh, yeah. Patience is key with birding.
It's not always about ticking off a list of species.
Right. It's about taking the time to really observe
Yeah.
and appreciate the birds
Who'd shoot the bird?
that are sharing our urban spaces.
I think it's about those unexpected encounters.
Yeah,
Those little moments of wonder
absolutely.
that make urban birding so rewarding.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly.
Have you had any particularly memorable urban birding experiences yourself?
I haven't really done much urban birding,
Okay.
but listening to all this,
Yeah.
it's making me want to get out there.
You should.
I know.
It's a lot of fun.
I have to share one of mine, though.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Okay, so this one stands out.
Okay.
I was walking through a busy downtown area,
Okay.
surrounded by skyscrapers and traffic,
Yeah. Classic city scene.
and I hear this piercing cry
Wow.
above all the noise.
That would definitely catch your attention.
So I look up,
Yeah.
and there, circling high above the buildings,
Okay.
was a peregrine falcon.
Wow. No way.
I know, it was amazing.
Right in the middle of all that hustle and bustle.
It was such a powerful reminder that nature can exist,
Yeah.
even in the most unexpected places.
That's a great story.
And it really highlights how urban birding can open your eyes to a whole new perspective.
Yeah. You start to see your surroundings differently.
Yeah, so the key takeaway
Yeah. Okay.
from this deep dive,
Hit me.
urban birding offers this chance
Okay.
to connect with nature
Okay.
in these unexpected places
Yeah. In the city.
and to discover a hidden world
A hidden world within the city.
within the city.
I love that.
Yeah, so next time you're walking through your neighborhood,
Yeah.
take a moment to look up,
Okay.
listen closely,
All right.
and see if you can spot any of these amazing urban birds.
Good advice.
You might be surprised by what you find.
You never know what you'll see.
Now, taking a step back
Okay.
and thinking about all these amazing birds
Yeah.
and the fact that they're thriving
Yeah.
in these urban environments,
Yeah.
it raises a pretty interesting thought.
What's that?
What does this tell us
Okay.
about the relationship between humans and nature?
That's a great question.
It makes you wonder if we can learn something from these birds
Yeah.
about adapting to change
Okay.
and coexisting in a shared space.
That's a really interesting thought.
Yeah.
Maybe they're showing us that there's more potential for harmony
Yeah.
between humans and nature
Than we might think.
than we might think.
It's a hopeful thought,
It is.
and one that I think is worth exploring further.
I agree.
So as a final thought for our listeners today,
Okay.
I want to leave you with this.
Hit me.
Consider taking some time
Okay.
to learn more about the birds
Okay.
that inhabit your city.
That's a great idea.
Each species has its own unique story to tell,
Yeah, its own adaptation.
its own behaviors.
It's fascinating stuff.
And learning about these birds
Yeah.
will only enhance your appreciation for them
I think so.
and for the urban ecosystems that they call home.
Yeah, they're home.
Yeah, it really is amazing to think we can contribute to something
Yeah.
so much bigger than ourselves just by
Just by observing.
observing and appreciating these birds.
Exactly. And the more we learn about them,
Yeah.
the more we realize just how interconnected we are
Right.
with the natural world,
Yeah.
even right in the middle of the city.
Even in the middle of a bustling city.
Yeah.
So to wrap up our deep dive
Okay.
into the world of uncommon city birds,
It's been a good one.
it has been.
I've learned a lot.
I want to thank you so much for sharing your source material with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
This has been such a fascinating journey,
Yeah.
and I hope it's inspired our listeners
Me too.
to take a closer look at the feathered wonders
Yeah.
that might be sharing their urban space.
They're all around us.
And remember, urban birding.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
isn't just about the rare finds. It's about appreciating all the birds
All the birds,
that make our cities their home.
from the pigeons to the hawks.
Exactly.
It's all about appreciating them.
It's about those moments of connection
Yeah.
with nature
Little moments.
that bring a sense of peace
Yeah.
and wonder to our everyday lives.
Absolutely.
So keep your eyes open,
Yes.
your ears tuned in,
Keep listening.
and your curiosity alive.
Stay curious.
You might just be surprised
You never know.
by the avian ventures
That's a good one.
that await you.
I like that.
Happy birding, everyone.
Happy birding.